We'll start with around the room introductions. I'm Gabrielle Gerhardt. I'm with the Windermere North Sandpoint Hub. Then I will call on two people and then, or call on a person and have them call on somebody. So why don't we start with Diane?
Hey, I'm Diane from the Madrona Hub, and I'll call on Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda from Lakewood Seward Park Hub. I'll call on Matt.
I'm Matt Blank from the Ravenna Hub.
Okay, I'm Bill Fay. I'm with the Queen Anne Hub. And so then I'll call on Beverly.
I'm Bev Lighty from the Laurelhurst Hub. I call on Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica from the Highland Park Improvement Center Club in West Seattle, and I will call on Cindy.
Cindy Barker Morgan Hub, and I will call on Pam.
Pam O'Connell, Ravenna Park Hub. I'll call on Jim.
Jim Duran, Finney Hub, and next is Gina.
Why don't we go to Susie?
I'm Susie Scott, Broadview South or Broadview.
Oh, hi, Catherine Keller, Homer Harris Hub, and I'll call on, Anne.
Ann Forrest. I am currently living in West Seattle and I am hubless, and I will call on the other Ann Bond.
Hi, I'm Ann Bond and I'm with the Eastlake Hub, east side of Lake Union. Great.
Anyone we missed? No? Okay, I think we're good. If you came in late and you want to rename yourself on the participants list, great. All right, our first item is nuts and bolts, saving water post-earthquake. Anne, do you want to tell us about that?
All right. I sat down with the emergency manager from Seattle Public Utilities, and I'm going to go through this presentation quick. I just want you guys to know that the guidance has changed. Not radically, but it has changed. So this is the PowerPoint I'm going to do for the public in a couple weeks. So updated guidance. This is the document that I originally took my stuff from. It's the Office of Emergency Management. It's November of 2017, so it's oldish. And this is the paragraph on water that all of us volunteers who teach disaster preparedness go off of. This says, shut off the water at the main house valve, and it kind of indicates shut it off immediately after the earthquake. So what I talked to Eric about was there is a little bit you can do before that. And the reason you shut that off is because gravity might pull the water in your hot water tank or the back of your toilet tank out into the street or down into the apartment below you or whatever. So you turn off the valve because of gravity. So the new guidance is before you shut off water to your building, whether that's a home, an office building, an apartment building, whatever, before you shut off the water, while the water is flowing, meaning the water in the pipes are pressurized, collect what you can. So that's the guidance. We'll go through that a little bit. This is what it looks like on a normal day. Water is flowing into your building. Then there's a crack, and water is spewing out of that crack because the water is pressurized. So you still have water coming into your building, probably less because some of it is being lost to cracks. But the part I didn't quite understand until I sat down with Eric was this water is still going to flow into your building and it's relatively clean. It's clean because the water is pushing out of all the cracks that are there. So as long as that water pressure is pushing out, no contaminants are coming in. So while water is flowing, collect what you can. And that's in buckets, tubs, stock pot, tea kettle, Tupperware, whatever you got. Collect the water that you can. Because eventually, and this is probably within 24 hours, maybe closer to 16 hours, pretty much everybody is going to lose power, is going to lose that pressurized water. And that's when the gravity kicks in and could potentially pull that water out of your building. So once the water stops flowing and you feel like, gravity might be pulling water out of my building, you absolutely want to shut off that main water valve. So the guidance is after an earthquake, collect what you can if you can. The problem is the folks at the top of the apartment building top floor of the apartment building, folks that live on a hill, it's very possible you won't have any kind of pressure soon after the earthquake, like maybe immediately. So if you're on the higher end of the pipes, you're probably not going to be able to collect anything. But if you can, collect what you can. So collect what you can. If it works for you, close the water valve as soon as you detect that you are no longer having pressurized water come into your building. Shut that water valve off to defy gravity, and also treat the water before using. I'm not going to go into that today, but that's kind of the new guidance. So this whole idea of collecting water, if you can, it might work. Depends on how much the pipes are broken. It depends on how far above gravity you are. So this might work. To be truly prepared, you absolutely want to buy water or store water in containers in your building. So that's all I'm going to go through. I'm not going to go through treating water or anything like that. I am working with Eric to find a date to do a presentation to the community, whoever wants to show up, and we will tape it, and I will edit it and get rid of all the ums and technical difficulties and all that, and put it up on Seattle Prepares, my YouTube channel, as well as the Hub's YouTube channel. So more guidance coming, but I think it's interesting. So any questions real quick? I'm sorry, Eric Autry he's in charge. He works in the emergency management section of Seattle Public Utilities. So good guy. He's a good presenter too. I think you have a lot of fun. And Erica, yeah, absolutely. I will, like I said, once we teach the class, we're going to tape that class. I'll shorten it down, make it as concise as possible, and then share it. So that's all I have on that one.
Yeah, Linda, the promotion committee, you are next.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the promotion committee has met once. We don't really have anything to report yet. We're just going into our study phase. So it's premature to really make any pronouncements, but I wanted to bring up one thing. One thing that we've been thinking about is that eventually we'll be developing some messaging that you all can use or not use according to, what works for you and your hub. But, and one of those might be to piggyback on things that are actually going out on in the larger community. For example, FEMA's Preparedness Month every September, and the Great Shakeout in October. And we don't have messaging for you yet, but I'm just bringing it up because those events happen anyway. And so it would be really nice to think, now that it's only July, what could we do in September to take advantage of that FEMA month? And what could we do in October, which is a no-brainer because it's one day, we know exactly what day, we know what to do on that day. It's just a matter of sharing it. So I just wanted to bring that out as a reminder.
I'll add that there's a lot of staged messaging that the state and county have put together that's available. So if the promotion committee puts together the campaign, giving them fodder will be pretty easy. So it's just going to that effort if people say they want to use it. So good. That's great. Thanks, Linda.
Catherine?
Next year, I want to do on our Facebook group or page, I want to pick up the FEMA once a month prepare in a year. And if there's a better one, but I'm seeing the ones from the Western region, they have a once a month activity that goes over a year. So if there were more prepared messaging along those lines, I'd really appreciate it. I'd put it out there on our Facebook. But I think should I connect? Who should I connect with if I want to let you know what I'm talking about? Because you're all looking at me cluelessly. It was a big thing this year. They did a monthly email and a prep thing that was looking real good, but I didn't keep up with posting them.
Yeah.
That sounds good, Catherine.
Yeah, I know that there's another committee on promoting ways for people to get prepared. That was the one that's Mission B priorities. But I think there's a lot of overlap. I think Linda's on both of those, so.
Yeah, I think we could tackle both of those.
So Linda, when that pops up this month, and I know we're 9 months into the year or whatever, but for next year, if I send it on to you, I'll make a note.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, the next item, Anne, was the post-exercise question.
So we have wrapped up our drill, the June drill. I learned a lot. We have a pretty solid to-do list of how to run a drill. It can certainly be expanded, but it's pretty solid based on how we do it now. What I heard from people and how I feel is I don't know that once a year is enough drills. I think we learn so much from them. I just think they're energizing. I think they're good for us. They're good for our community. What I'm proposing is the idea of maybe doing one at about the 6-month mark, not getting away or doing away with anything in June or the summer, but why not do an indoor drill sometime? December, November, January, February, I don't know. Could look quite different. Maybe not individual hubs. Maybe it's more of we all come together, meet at the same place, and one in the north end, one in the south end, different weekends, whatever, but not individual hubs, more of a let's all get together and work out some of the issues and try and overwhelm the system and blah, blah, blah. Lots of ideas in my head, which is not unusual. So I would like to just real quick, thoughts about it. I see some thumbs up and I like it. I'm happy to put out oh, go ahead, Cindy.
And this would be one where we invite the community to participate?
Yes, absolutely. Just trying to get more people to be even aware that we exist. In my head, I'm always thinking about grants, and I would propose we write a grant and spend some money on advertising. But that's something that to be decided by the group if they want to work on this. Google form, sure. I'll figure out how to do that. I've never done that before.
Oh, I can help
Okay.
you out.
I can figure it out. It's just I've been trying to avoid it.
Great, thanks, Anne. Any other questions or comments on this? And again, survey experience with household prep.
Yes, so the individual household prep team, it's Dustin and Linda are on that team. And then I attend some of the meetings. They put together a survey trying to find out, trying to get a baseline for hub captains. How comfortable are you doing teaching individual preparedness? Have you done it? Did it work? What experiences have you had with it? So just kind of a baseline, like I said.
I will
take the
put
survey when you get a second.
Yeah, I'll put the link at the bottom of the minutes, and then I'll try to remember to also include it in the email so that it catches people's eye. So Anne, let me just repeat. The goal of the survey is to find out about HubCap's personal preparedness and how comfortable they are sharing messages around personal preparedness, in part based on their experience. Did I get it right?
No, not how personally prepared you are, but have you ever taught individual household preparedness?
Okay.
How did it go? Any thoughts about it's hard, it's easy? Yeah.
So that's where you have you done it? Is teaching? Okay, great. I got it. Good.
It's really has your hub done it?
Has your hub done it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cindy, backpacks available from OEM.
I'm going to share my screen because you have to see it to believe it. So the OEM inherited, these boxes sizes are called Gaylords. So they inherited 9 Gaylords worth of backpacks from the University of Washington. We believe they were in the dorms.
Oh, yeah.
And they have an assortment of stuff in them. It's some important things like crank radios, some light one pack of MREs, one pack of water, a whistle, a light stick, not a lot in, but some of value. And they have 300 of them to give to the hubs. So I do not have my brain well organized around this. I'm going like, well, between Ann and I, we can probably find a place to pick them up and stash them, but do you guys want them to give away? Should we strip all the stuff out and use it instead as giveaways at our outreach events? I'm looking for input. So
I'd like to see it and evaluate it, see what kind of quality we're talking about. Maybe there's opportunities to add branding to the backpacks. Maybe we can make kits out of them based on what's there. They seem like good giveaways.
It's not gonna be enough to, it's a list of about 8 things, and I should have thought to have that up too. It's not a lot of stuff. It was for a student in a dorm, right? So it wasn't like they had a ton. And some of the backpacks look like we haven't seen them yet, and seen a few, but pockets are open and people probably took the crank radio out or the MRE because they were drunk hungry one night,
So they were kits already.
Yes, they were
all in
kits
the backpack.
already, but nobody's gone through all of them and can validate what's really in them. So it's really, we're getting them for the backpack and some level of contents. So the more I'm talking myself into this, I'm going, that wouldn't be of value. For example, Matt, if you were to take 30 of them because you're going to have an outreach event and you think you can give away 30 because they're going to be inconsistent with what's in there. The value is really only in
exactly
the pieces
what
of
they are.
content. All right, so Anna and I will take them all. This is clearly gonna be more room than what's in the storage area. I was just going to try and see if I could find the list of stuff.
This is Gabrielle. We had one of these come into our house when my daughter moved out of the dorm. And I think you described what was in there pretty well. I think there might have been a space blanket in it and pretty much a couple bags of water and
maybe a light
so
stick.
I don't remember a radio. Maybe a heat stick, something like that. Pretty simple, but definitely I could see that these might be fun things to do a little bit of reorganizing and maybe give some full ones out as start your preparedness. And here's a list of 10 more things you should get, like for individuals or for young people. And then do something with the rest of the stuff. Yeah, I could see that.
Catherine? And you're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Matt's idea of if we could brand the backpacks is kind of brilliant. 300 of them, and we can
How would you brand them?
print the Hubs logo on the
We
back.
could stamp them or
Why?
embroider them,
And
I don't know.
I don't know what goes in them, but then all that stuff, I'm sure we could. Yeah, I'm with Gabrielle, and or just even cannibalize them all and have them as backpacks and give them. I'm like, oh, cool. If it's any good, if it's stale or really old, and but this looks pretty. This
I
looks
feel
like stuff that doesn't go bad.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just feel like if we give away like empty backpacks that don't say anything, people are just gonna forget what it is and throw it away. Or maybe they'll just beat it up. If it could be an opportunity to have something that will make people think about preparing in the hubs. Maybe we can put a list of stuff that they should put in it or
No, I agree. I like Gabrielle's adjustment, which is let's go see how many full backpacks we have.
Yeah.
And then all the other stuff becomes stuff we can distribute around to give away. I always have outreach tables and I'm like, if I can hand out light sticks, that's fantastic. But I need someone to volunteer to figure out how to do the branding of the backpacks. Who wants to collect them? Who wants to take them somewhere? Get a cost estimate and let everybody know what it's going to cost the Hub network, because we typically don't budget for that sort of thing. Although it's good outreach material.
I see that Linda's got her hand up. Yeah.
I'm going to be the naysayer here. To me, this is a random thing. It's a coconut. It just fell on us. And I think it'll be a lot of effort and time put into this. And to me, this is not well, for my own hub, I can only speak for my own hub, but I do not think it would be that valuable.
I just want
Beverly?
to say that for Laurelhurst, we were thinking of having some like door prizes. We still haven't done our drill. It's in September. We were already thinking about, should we purchase something like this? So if we could even make a couple out of 30 of them or something, it would be useful for prizes.
Yeah. Linda, I am with you on the, how much effort do we want to put into it? I don't mind getting them and unbagging them and using them, because I have 10 outreach events every year, right? Just in West Seattle. So I could use the loot all for myself. But if other people want to say, I want to do it. The one that was too much effort is the rebranding. So if somebody wants to do that on their own, cool. Okay, there's 6 messages going on here, so.
They could be.
Maybe Frank, you wanna?
Oh, I like that Frank's idea.
Yeah,
Frank's
I'd
idea of
like to do
give them
some
to the hubs to use is usefulness. It's part of, we got 300 to distribute, so that's cool. I'll figure out how to get them. Ann and I think between the two of us, we could stuff them in. And we have some room in our storage unit. I have some room in my storage unit, and my garage is a great work platform. So,
Yeah.
so we'll get that.
I
And
say
if we
we-
kept going, the backpacks are just too much, too big, too bulky. We can give them to Goodwill. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I may have some space available too.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, it could also be a good prize, like I was suggesting for skills fairs, where we have like a card that people can get stamps when they go to each booth, and then if they complete it, we could give them that as a reward. Lots of things.
Yeah, sometimes, Linda, I'm with you totally on the coconuts falling out of the tree, but Cindy the Hoarder, it's really hard for me to pass this one up.
Well, if we give away a different thing every year, keeps it.
Yeah, I'm also, when I hear the word branding too, it's like, we haven't developed our branding yet. And so it'd be
Yeah.
another random thing that doesn't match the other things. And, that
Right.
makes me a little crazy, but
Yeah.
so be it.
I think hubs could just put a luggage tag on it or something. It doesn't have to be a whole design of a brand and getting it printed and all that. Individual hubs who take these can decide how they want to label them.
Yep, it's always the cost that stops us a little bit, right? Luggage tags and printing 300 labels and all that. Well, if you guys have post-meeting ideas or people who are watching the video, send them to me, because we'll get them, and nothing's going to happen at the speed of light. The next outreach event we've got not till August, so plenty of time to figure it out. Gabrielle, you want me to go on into my next one?
Sure, that'd be great. Notes from the monthly OEM disaster meeting. Yep.
So we have Frank's putting the branding that their hub developed, but it is different than the branding the hubs have always used. So this is part of the, what's our real branding thing?
That's getting to be an issue.
Right,
that's we all need to.
That's the committee. That's the committee. Okay. August better not be next week. Oh crap, it is.
It is.
Okay, I got a week and a half here. The time is going by so fast. So Office of Emergency Management has what's called a Disaster Management Committee. Ann and I and now Chris Paulus has started attending, and we go regularly, always looking for stuff to share. Sometimes it fits into a hub captain meeting. Sometimes it just helps Ann and I know something better about it. We came out with 3 specific things over the past 2 months that I wanted to pass on. One is that you can really see the budget cuts coming at the city reflecting in anxiety in all the departments, and particularly the Office of Emergency Management. They, like everybody who has been told to, cut, they're really concerned, and they actually mentioned it today. And they talked about how the departments need to make sure that when they're talking to up through the chain to Harold, and then also over to the chain that goes to city council, that they emphasize the functions of emergency management within their departments. And it was advocating for money. So I'm tagging this part of this anxiety piece into, if you go talk to your city council member, or if you see them in an outreach event, make sure you talk about the need to continue to fund emergency management activities, unreinforced masonry building retrofits, staffing of departments, communication and readiness. And we here in District 1, 3 of us just met with our council member, Saka, and he was very open to it. He actually had a couple of examples of how he had done public preparedness stuff. And so he was sensitized to that. So sensitizing is probably the right word, just saying, hey, did you check this department? Do they have, what are you doing to the Office of Emergency Management? You're cutting them from 12 to what? So just a heads up, if you have any political clout, that's always a good message you can send if you so feel so. I'm not telling you got to do it, but it's helpful to have that in your back pocket. The second item was last month, we got a briefing from the UW and Providence, Anne, help me, Providence or Swedish, and the UW hospitals, speaking to all the departments about what it's going to take at their hospitals to keep fully operational and how much they depend on SPU for their products, City Light for their products, SDOT to clear the roads so people can get to the hospitals. It was an excellent presentation. So Anne's working on trying to see if they will come to a deep dive to cover that. But it was really good to hear in our year of medical was a big topic for them. Anything you want to add on that, Anne?
No.
Okay.
They've got good intel.
Yeah. And then the last one came up today. They were talking about, they always have a strategic work plan, a 2-year strategic work plan that informs what goals they and all the departments are working on. And every 2 years they update it. So we're at the end of a 2-year cycle. They're getting ready to talk about their 25-26 strategic plan. One of the slides said, engage with the hubs to talk about recovery planning. So in the phases of a disaster, there's mitigation and preparedness. Then there is response, which is really what we're all about, stand up in those first couple of days. Then there is recovery and long-term recovery, where everybody's working to get systems back to normal. And so they want to start working with the community, not just us, but community-based organizations on how to plan for recovery, input from us. So stay tuned. That was a really cool thing to see. We double checked that they really meant, us hubs, not resilience hubs. And it was like, yeah, we want to get input from you guys as partners. So good, positive stuff today. That was it.
I have a question, Cindy. Can you just talk a little bit more about how you see that anxiety on the behalf of the city manifesting?
That they never actually had talked about this in meetings before. That was the first thing. And we know they've been telling us for months that when Harold was putting together his budget, he was telling departments, you will take a mandatory 5 to 10%, depending on what department you were in, cut. OEM used to be a little bit protected because they used to live within police, and police was one of the last departments to get cut. They're not there anymore. They're out of the mayor's office. So they're kind of like an unprotected entity unless people understand the importance of and value of that department. And anything else you want to add?
No, you captured it.
Did that?
No, that's helpful. Thank you. The next item, back to Anne, hub explanation that seems to resonate.
So I was at Maple Leaf, small, a lot of single family homes, community, and I was working their summer social with some potential hub captains. They have a box already. It's always been a little difficult to explain what it is the hubs do and what we need community members to do. But what I did, and this was a summer social, it wasn't a disaster event. They were just, there was free ice cream. They're just walking around socializing. There's music, that kind of stuff. So what I did was I had a picture of a hub box similar to what their hub box is. And I said, hey, your hub box is over there on the other side of the trash can, other side of the restroom. And see this hole and this hole right here? That's where the locks are. There's combination locks on that box. And what we're asking community members to do is get trained on how that works and get the code for the combination lock. And they went, oh, I get it. There's gear in my community already. All I have to do, or what you're asking me to do, is be able to unlock it. So I have the code and then understand how the system works. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'll be there in 2 weeks. That's our follow-on event after the summer social. So I just, for some reason, I thought, I've never done this before. I've never pointed out that this box is locked. And it really, it just seemed to resonate. They seem to have gotten it. Now, this is a community that has had hubs for about 3 years now. And they had a hub captain, and then, well, I guess it's been 4. They had a hub captain, then COVID. Hub captains had young kids. They just kind of, faded. So, and they've been trying to get the hubs going. So there's been a lot of talk about hubs. So maybe I just hit the community at a very receptive time. And who knows, maybe nobody will show up next Wednesday when we have our follow-on meeting. But it just seemed to really hit home. When I showed them the box, told them it was locked, the community members get into that box. It's not storage of city officials. It just really seemed to resonate. So I just wanted to mention that in case anybody else is looking for like talking points. Any questions about that one?
No, that's good.
Okay. And then I have the next one too. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope you can see this. This is me getting into the Google Drive. So here's the Hub Captain documents. Here's the Hub Book and Operations folder. And in here is Hub Books for all, old and new versions. These are the Hub Books that we distributed May of 2020. So the original books, that's Hub Manager, Education Manager, and then the other 10 job descriptions. Those 12 positions are in here. And then we've done some updates, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are the updated pages to get you to the most update version. So when you double click this link, there's all these are all like 1 pages that you print out and then just take out the old page, throw in this new page. I'll go through a few of them. This is a copy of the medication poster. Hopefully most of you have the poster, but we didn't include this poster in the original conception of the books because we hadn't had it yet. So it's just throwing that in there. Here's another one, the Good Samaritan Law. If you take out the old page, it will say, hey, this is the way the Good Samaritan Law is written, but stand by, there's an update coming. So this is the update. Here's the 2021 modification to the Good Samaritan Law. Psychological first aid. We found the document we already have in English. We found one in Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish. And then let's see, here's another good one. The radio operators ICS 205, which unless you're a radio person doesn't really mean much, but basically it says these are the channels that we're going to operate on. And we have had repeater channel 3 has been added to the Central East sector, so Capitol Hill. So that one, we just redid this ICS 205 and added that repeater channel 3. So that's basically what all this stuff is. I'm not going to go through it. The link will be in the minutes too, where all of those new documents are. Going forward, if we're printing new books, this is what we will print. Here's the education book, the hub manager, and then all the other job descriptions minus the hub manager and the educator.
So like if my book has gotten wet, I would just go and print the whole new set and it'll have those updated pages in it. Perfect.
The next item is night out. Anyone making a special handout?
That one comes from me. This is the usual discussion we have right before night out. The Southwest precinct is still the only precinct in the city that stuffs goodie bags for their participants. They give out between 600 and 800 bags. And we've been using in West Seattle, a West Seattle specific brochure that we used to get printed, but is kind of out of date. And so I'm going, do any of you make a night out, you know, it's geared at that night out event for your neighbors where you're advertising your hub. If anybody's got an example of what you might have done that personalized it to that night out approach, would you send me a copy? I would very much appreciate it, because I'm about to have to print 800 of something and I don't know what to do yet. So no discussion. I just wanted to put the call out for that. The last one, I put 10 minutes and I'm going to whittle that down to 5. So we got plenty of time for around the room. Chris Paulus was doing some research. There's some questions of gas, how to improve messaging around gas safety. And one of the things that he stumbled across was Northridge, several years after they had done what I thought was their last after action, a after action specific to fires after the Northridge earthquake came out. And so we hadn't seen this before. It was, as you would expect, that many of the fires were because of gas, pipe breakage. And it was interesting that one of the worst fires was a gas pipe that had broken and was leaking, and a guy tried to start his truck right on top of it. So the ignition sparking. So that was kind of interesting. The two things I want to tell you that are different and I wasn't aware of, one affects anybody who lives near mobile homes. So we have at least 2 mobile home villages in Seattle still. One of them is in Holler Lake, and those things went up like tinder. And so just if you have a high collection of mobile homes near you, you want to be thinking about what you might be ready to, what kind of response is going to have to be needed, like evacuation of people and stuff like that. The other one came out of that the life science buildings at the local college in that area were huge fire hazards, and they took days for them to put those fires out. So we also forget to think about, with Seattle being as diverse it is with its medical facilities, is you may have buildings just sitting looking like office buildings in your area, and really what they've got is a lot of materials for experiments or research or treatments that are hazardous. So it's just being aware of particular hazards in your neighborhood when you kind of think through. We all go through, what are the resources in my neighborhood? You might also be thinking about, do I have something in here I should be particularly aware of? So it's just a heads up. It's not anything to worry about, but just, it was a new dimension of thinking. I have put the links to that study for the geeks in the crowd into the agenda, so it'll go out with the minutes. That's it.
Yeah, that is something that has worried me.
Yeah.
Particularly if you live near shoreline, near Faircrest.
So I didn't see the links. Oh, I see you added it there. Yeah, I've been adding some of the other ones. I'll go back and clean up the thing around there. Thank you for adding that there as well. Great. So anything else, Ann or Cindy, before we move on to around the room? No? Okay, so we'll move on to around the room. We usually start in the Northwest. Is there anybody from the Northwest who has anything to share, any updates?
I can speak for the Ballard hubs. One of them, Ballard Commons, practiced during the June drills. The other 3 hubs, Loyal Heights, Gilman, and Kirkay Park, are all planning on individual drills later on. The first one's in August, but can't remember it's August 18th, which is a Sunday, but I don't know the time yet. So just if you're interested in attending a drill, keep your ears out for Ballard.
Great. Anyone else from the Northwest? Okay, Northeast, Beverly.
Our drill is in September, so we're trying to learn from the previous drills, but that's all we have is our upcoming drill.
Great. I will talk about what I did with my hub, which was an incredibly low key event. I had put all my stuff in my box and it wasn't really well organized. So I invited some people that have been to some of the meetings before. Ann and Cindy will know some of them, Duffy and Liz and a few others who've been involved and live along Sandpoint Way. And we took everything out of the box and we did a written inventory. And that's why I was thinking about I needed new book pages. And we went through, we made a list of what needs to go in each bag. Like I didn't even have bags for each station yet. So we didn't get the bags put together, but we went through every single roll, looked through the book. What would this person need? Oh, would they need tape? Would they need pens? What would they need? And now we're going to put the bags together and hopefully get everything back into the box. I have the small box, so it's still a small size. Yes, 2-gallon Ziplocs. Okay, yes, I have to hunt those down because those would definitely be really helpful. But it was really good because as we went through, there was a couple new people. And then there was a guy who had come to our drill our setup last fall. And he had a little kid and he was like, oh, I can't get involved right now, but I'm just coming to say, you know, I'm still in Hawthorne Hills. I'd still like to, you know, be on the email. And so I thought that was really good. And every time we would talk about, okay, why would we have this? It was good because we could have a conversation about it. So there were 3 or 4 people there who didn't really know as much and we could kind of educate them and talk about what the station would do. And so just kind of putting our hands on all that stuff and taking the inventory was really helpful for me, just kind of to get my stuff to the next level. Most of it's there, but it, you know, isn't well organized. You'd be sorting it out as you pull it out. So that's my lame update. Okay. Anyone else from the Northeast?
This is Pam O'Connell from Ravenna Park, and on August 1st, we're going to have a setup practice. And I just sent you an email asking you about times and that kind of thing, and also for our training that's coming up in September.
Yeah. Excellent. And then Liz from Pinehurst had her hand up.
Yeah, hi. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. I was late. And this is, I think, the first meeting I've been able to make in person. So good to see all of you. I don't have much of an update. We're in the process of finally re-outfitting our box. I think I just made our last big order and Anne dropped off some tables and showed us how to fit 4 canopies and 4 tables into the small box. That was the clincher. Otherwise, I would have been there for a lot longer. So we're in the process of getting our books sorted out and then the last little bit of labeling. And we'll probably have an inventory party sometime in the next month or so as well.
Yeah, you must have a big box, Pinehurst. I can barely get that one little canopy in my small box. Yeah. Great.
I think Liz is comparing herself to Lake City.
Yeah.
Who has a giant container. Liz has a bigger box, bigger than most.
That sounds good. Central West.
Sure. I'm Bill with Queen Anne, and basically not much has happened here other than I've been working with Cindy recently and getting a web page reformatted at the SeattleEmergencyHubs.org site. This is for the MICWA, the Magnolia Interbay Queen Anne hubs. So that's right now the only 2 hubs that really are working are the Magnolia hub at the community center and the Queen Anne hub at the Queen Anne Community Center. So we're just sort of taking our time. Not much else to report.
Central East.
Gabrielle, hi, it's Ann Bond.
Oh, hi, Ann.
I am not on my video because I'm eating dinner. So I just wanted to share with the group that I recently purchased 4 canopy tents. I'm so excited. They have sidewalls. They are so easy to put up. They are 10 by 10 and they fit in my 4-foot hub knack box. So I'll be happy to share that link. I bought them on Amazon, so they delivered them to my house. It just couldn't have been easier. So I'd be happy to just share that with everybody if you're looking for a canopy tent.
Yeah. Great.
This is Ellen Santorelli. I'm in Mont Lake, and we're just starting out. I met with Cindy and also with Chris from North Capitol Hill, and we walked around the neighborhood and looked for a site to put the box, because we don't, it's a small neighborhood with a very small like business district and slide zones and liquefaction zones and flood zones. So we think we have a site that we're hoping for. So so that was exciting progress. And so we're just at the very beginning. For night out, we'll have a I'll be sitting at a table there and, you know, welcoming folks in. And Cindy gave me some things to hand out to people, and so we'll be taking names for people who are interested in volunteering. So we're at that very beginning, but I'm super excited about it.
Great. I see Catherine Killer's got her name up, and then I think Diane, you were after that.
Hi, and congratulations, Ellen. I live just south of you, like on 27th south of Madison. So I'm really, really happy. Yay!
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to just do a quick report and update from Chris Paulus. We're on behalf of myself and Hugh and Chris from the fundraising committee, where we reported in May that we're trying to pull together people in September to dive into our more organizational model and where we want to go if we're going to do big fundraising and manage those funds and resources. So he has a list of names: Gina, Susie, Gabrielle, who he's trying to connect with, Linda, Norland. And if anybody else is interested in participating in this conversation, I'm putting it in the chat. You can copy it in the minutes, and you can read and I have a link to the meeting minutes where this all started. And please connect with Chris, because we're going to get working in September. Yeah, Linda?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say something. I actually told Chris I was not interested.
Oh,
He
okay.
sent me an email anyway. And I'm just kind of curious because I get how fundraising, well, every committee is linked to every other one. I get that there's, you know, we're one organization and there's a lot of connectivity, but I am a little concerned that this is looking like something like strategic planning for like the whole structure of the organization. And if that's true, would be uncomfortable having that run through a subcommittee that was really given a different mandate. So I'm just raising the issue. I think it's really important, if we were really going to do something like that, that would be very upfront about it and really discuss it and understand. And I don't think that mandate, if there is one, and I don't really think there is one, I don't think that should be in the hands of just a couple people. That's my opinion.
Well, we happen to agree, but we also decided that we would have nothing to do with being able to deal with fundraising unless there was at least a modicum of some kind of bylaws in organization. So that's kind of where we're stuck. And so, yeah, we are kind of saying, okay, you want fundraising, and we can do the rudiments of how that happens now. However,
well,
as an organization, we have some impediments to managing fundraising, and we wanted to sort through that.
Well, can I add? I'm sitting here looking at the white sheet that we wrote, and maybe that's my fault that I took the originals. I thought we put it in the notes, but it says explore funding sources, see results of other teams for how much dollars they need, because we were debating whether we spent enough money to go 501c3. Then the second line was evaluate the need. Do we need to form a 501c3?
Right.
So have you done have you gotten you know, like, are we really into we need to spend enough?
The survey, but we're also reluctant to say we're ready to say this is what it would take, or do we need, there's a whole bunch of organizational models that do not require 501c3. So I'll just stop there.
I think Diane is patiently waiting.
Oh, yes, I'm filling in for Bill, who is still sailing the canals of France.
Oh,
And
nice.
he'll be back in 3 weeks. We'll be helping out at Madison Park in September with their drill on the 22nd. And we've been setting up radios. We have a new core team. And so we're really just getting, the box needs a lot of stuff, and the radios are getting programmed, and we're just making progress.
I'm
One
sorry,
last Central East here,
Yes.
yeah.
Central
Frank Lawler, Madison Valley, not really anything to report. We're still running on our high from a really successful drill last month. So, and people are out of town for the summer, so we're taking it easy. That's it.
Right. All right. Now Southwest.
There have been a bunch of outreach events I'm going to do for everybody. Roxbury, Morgan Junction, and the Alaska Junction all had their festivals, and Alki, and we've had outreach tables there. And we have 2 more coming up in South Park and Admiral. So you can see why I'm always really interested in giveaway stuff. Dolores, coming out of the drill, wanted to set up, Linda, you're going to recognize this term, study nights to go through the hub roles and just talk about them. So we got some, not all of the hub captains here in West Seattle, some of them are going to come, and then one of them's camping and she really wants to participate. So we're actually going to make it a hybrid. I don't know how well it will work, but if anybody who is listening or sees the video before August 31st, which is July 31st, which is the date of our study night, we can probably, accommodate a few more people from outside who want to, get in and play. So if you're interested, send me an email and I'll get you the link, because I'm only really going to send it to the West Seattle folks. There is we had in Pigeon Point from Robert, a tree fell on his hub box. So we're in the process of removing a tree. So all the new things that come about with owning a box, you have to get to them and pay attention. And this is my reminder to don't forget to oil your hinges at some point. So
Good point.
I think that's it.
That's an excellent point, Cindy. To oil the hinges. I would not have thought of that. Right. All right. Southeast, Linda.
Okay, so we've been doing some neighborhood outreach, and I'll tell you the 2 most interesting things, I think. One is the community club here has an annual garage sale, and what they do is they sign up people and then they publish a map. And this year there were 24 households on the map, and we talked them into putting a blurb about the hub on the map, and that they should expect that volunteers from the hub would come by during the sales and pass out flyers. So we split up and we walked 21 of the sites, and we designed and printed up a new flyer, and it was nice bright orange, and we got people to tape it up at the front of their sales and put some on our table. And I actually had some nice discussions with people. It was actually really good. And then the other thing we've been doing is at our monthly meeting, our monthly meeting's an hour and a half, and we're devoting now the first half hour, we're calling it drop in for a demo. And we're publicizing it, like you don't have to come for the whole meeting, just drop in for the demo. You can leave after that, no pressure, whatever. Now, so far, nobody's left who's come. So, but we've had demos on, utilities and water and various things. And last month we did how to make a home air filter out of a box fan, and what to do about wildfire smoke. And so it's actually really energized our meetings, because people are actually really looking forward to this. Like every time it's interesting. I don't know. It just like people like to do this stuff. So anyway, it's been kind of fun.
What happens the last hour? Regular meeting?
A regular meeting, in which there's always a lot of stuff, actually, believe it or not, but there is.
Right. Anyone else who wants to share anything?
I have two reports. Ron Angeles and Brandy from Rainier Beach Hub, they actually are also going to get about 150 of those backpacks for the youth that they do have down at the Rainier Beach Action Coalition. So a kind of a joint program. And so they had a specific use for kids. And so they can build on it, you know, like some of the ways you guys had already talked about. And then we have a new hub that is opened up at the Leo Street Pea Patch. They now, thanks to some donations from the Ballard Group, they now have most of their gear, about 2/3 of the gear stuff, and a box in their garden shed. And they are going to be doing community building. Their whole community is just in a rebuilding phase. And Seattle Public Utilities is working with them on a lot of their Adopt a Street program, and they have some dumping problems. So they're going to be doing a targeted, SPU is paying for a targeted flyer to that neighborhood. And they said, oh, and we'll add building the hub, you know, get involved into that flyer. So that was a really cool way for, because the community group was behind the activity, to sneak hub stuff in. So those of you who still go to community groups, don't forget to look for opportunities to get into their newsletters or get into something the city is doing in terms of outreach, if it's just kind of a general broad mailer. So that was a really cool development. I think that's all I know of going on in Southeast right now.
All right, last call for anything anyone who wants to share, comments, questions.
I guess I'll share one more thing. This is not, I'm sharing a YouTube link. It's not quite finished processing, but I just uploaded a video talk that I did on off-grid solar for a local ham club to YouTube. So just wanted to put that out there for anybody who's interested, wants to learn some basics. And of course, if you have any questions on that, you can ask me directly if you want to.
Cool, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
I have a go back. I forgot, those of you who were filmed by, there was a filmmaker running around to several of our different sites. Ann and I have talked with him, and he can't do it this month, but he's hoping in the next month to give us some raw footage from the exercises that we can use in promotional stuff. So that will be a cool development, because we always forget to take pictures of ourselves.
Great. All right, then I think we are ready to wrap up. 8:10, good timing. We moved fast tonight.
And once again, thank you to Gabrielle and Gina for keeping us on track and doing this.
That's great, putting the agenda together and getting it out. I really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night, everyone. And before we pull off, do we have an August meeting? We usually do. We're going to have a deep dive this August. Is that how it works?
Deep dive, August 22nd. Yes, hopefully folks from the hospital, 2 main hospital facilities, they have a mandate to be ready to do 96 hours post-disaster, but not much of a plan after that. It's really interesting what it takes to run a hospital. Team. Who knew? So hopefully August 22nd, deep dive will be medical.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Enjoy the next month of summer. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.